What happens when America's sweetheart finally reaches her breaking point on live television? When the cameras are rolling and millions of people are tuned in, sometimes the carefully crafted mask slips and the real person underneath comes to the surface. Today, we're going to unpack one of the most unforgettable moments in morning TV history, when Kelly Clarkson lost control during what should have been a standard promotional interview. Before we jump into this incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you think actually pushed Kelly over the edge. The Today Show studio was alive with its usual morning buzz. Coffee cups sat steaming on the desks, production assistants rushed back and forth holding clipboards, and the air vibrated with the familiar hum of live broadcast energy. Craig Melvin sat opposite Kelly Clarkson in the interview area, both of them lit flawlessly by the professional studio lights. For viewers at home, everything looked polished and ordinary, ready for a lighthearted conversation about Kelly's latest projects. "We're back in 30 seconds, the floor director shouted, his voice cutting through the noise of the studio. Kelly shifted slightly in her chair, adjusting her blazer and glancing at her reflection in the off-camera monitor. This was a routine she had gone through countless times before, talking about albums, tours, TV appearances. On paper, this morning was supposed to be simple. Creig, meanwhile, flipped through his notes again, though he already knew the flow by heart. A handful of questions about her music, maybe something personal, a story or two for laughs. He had interviewed Kelly before and always found her warm, professional, and genuine. There was nothing in his preparation that suggested this morning would be different. And we're live in 5, 4, 3. The countdown ended with silent finger cues for 2 and 1. Welcome back to Today. I'm Craig Melvin, and I'm here with Grammy-winning superstar Kelly Clarkson. Creig began with his practiced television grin. "Thanks for having me." "Creig, I always love being on the show," Kelly replied, her media training clear in her calm tone. But if you looked carefully, there was a flicker of tension in her eyes, something that hadn't been there in earlier appearances. "So, let's talk about your new album," Creig continued smoothly. "You've been working on this project for more than 2 years now. Tell us what fans can expect." Kelly leaned forward, her hands clasped. "This record is very personal. It's about growth, about finding yourself again after going through major life changes. Anyone who's ever had to rebuild themselves will relate to these songs." "Speaking of rebuilding," Creig said, glancing at his notes, "you've been very open about your divorce. How has that shaped your music?" There was the slightest pause. Kelly's smile faltered for a moment, but she pulled it back. "I've always processed life through music. Hard times can either break you, or you can turn them into something meaningful. That's what I've tried to do. And that authenticity is what people love about you," Creig replied. "But I need to ask, and I know this might be touchy, there are reports about custody arrangements and financial disputes. How do you balance openness in your songs while also protecting your children's privacy?" Kelly's shoulders stiffened. She leaned back. "As I've said, my kids come first. Every decision I make, they are my priority." Creig nodded but pressed on. "Of course, and everyone respects that. But when you write lyrics about learning to trust again, about lies and broken promises, aren't you, in some way, letting listeners peek into what went wrong in your marriage?" Kelly's voice took on a sharper edge. "Art has always been about using personal experiences and making them universal. That's what artists do." Creig chuckled, though his laugh didn't sound genuine. "But Kelly, when you sing about someone who took everything and left you with nothing, in a track called Court Date Blues, that's not metaphorical, is it?" Kelly blinked, her expression changing instantly. "I'm sorry, what song are you talking about? Because I don't have a song by that title." Creig glanced down at his notes, his confidence slipping. "Well, according to our research, your research team got it wrong," Kelly interrupted, her voice noticeably cooler now. "And frankly, Creig, I came here to talk about my music, not to rehash my private life on national TV." Creig tried to recover. "Of course, but you have to see, your fans are curious. They care about you, and when something so public—" "Public?" Kelly cut him off, her voice rising. "I've been as private as I possibly could under the circumstances. I have never bashed my ex-husband publicly. I've never aired private matters in interviews. I've done everything I can to handle this with dignity." The energy in the studio shifted. Camera operators glanced at one another nervously. The floor director edged closer, sensing the danger. Creig, feeling the moment slipping, tried to push forward. But isn't it true there were allegations of financial impropriety? Sources close to the situation have suggested— Stop! Kelly's hand shot up, her eyes blazing. Just stop right there. What sources? What allegations? Are you really going to sit here and repeat gossip as if it's fact? These are reports from reputable entertainment journalists. Creig began. Reputable? Kelly let out a sharp laugh. Creig, do you have kids? He blinked, caught off guard. Yes, I do. Then you should know there are boundaries you don't cross. You don't spread rumors about someone's family, especially their children, because some so-called source whispered it to a blogger. The studio fell into silence. Even the production assistants had frozen, realizing they were witnessing a moment that would be replayed for years. Creig stammered, Kelly, I think this is a misunderstanding. I'm not trying to attack you, I'm just asking questions our viewers want to know. Our viewers? Kelly stood suddenly, her mic pack tugging at her blazer. Our viewers tuned in to hear about music. They wanted to know about the new album, maybe a few stories from recording. They didn't tune in to see you ambush me with fake song titles and baseless rumors. Creig stayed seated, visibly rattled. I promise, Kelly, there was no ambush. These questions were shared with your publicist beforehand. That's a lie. Kelly's words landed like a hammer. My publicist made it very clear this would focus on the new record and my tour. Nobody mentioned custody or finances or whatever nonsense your team dug up. The air was heavy with tension. Crew members exchanged glances. America's darling was no longer smiling. She was furious. Kelly, please, let's just take a breath, Creig pleaded. Don't you dare tell me to take a breath, she shot back, her voice trembling. You sit there with your little note cards full of lies and then tell me to calm down when I call you out? Unbelievable. Creig glanced desperately at the control room. The cameras were still live. Millions were watching. Maybe we should go to commercial, he suggested. Oh no, Kelly said firmly, raising her hand. You wanted this conversation on air? Then let's have it. You mentioned a song called Court Date Blues. That doesn't exist. Did your research team invent it, or was that your idea? Creig flushed. There may have been some confusion in our notes. Confusion? Kelly gave a bitter laugh. You just told millions of people I wrote a song that doesn't exist. Do you know how irresponsible that is? Kelly, if there was an error, she snapped. Creig, you've now planted a rumor that will spread like wildfire. That's not an error, that's negligence. The floor director waved frantically for Creig to cut it short. But Kelly wasn't finished. You talk about protecting children's privacy, then drag my kids into this? You think they won't see clips of this? You think their friends won't bring it up? That's disgusting. Creig winced at the word. I think you're overreacting. Overreacting? Kelly's voice spiked. Are you married, Creig? Yes, good for you. Now picture this. Your marriage falls apart. It's messy, painful. You're trying to hold your family together while lawyers and judges make decisions about your kids' lives. Got it? Creig nodded hesitantly. Now imagine you go on TV to promote work you're proud of. Instead, the host invents songs you never wrote and throws rumors in your face. Still think I'm overreacting? The studio was so silent you could hear the faint hum of equipment. Kelly, I apologize, Creig said weakly. Maybe we can start over. Start over? Kelly shook her head. You can't unsay what you just said. You can't undo making up a song title and spreading gossip on live television. Do you get that? Creig's composure was crumbling. I wasn't trying to humiliate anyone. Then what were you trying to do? Kelly demanded. Because it looks a lot like you wanted a gotcha moment, and congratulations, you got one. She unclipped her mic and placed it on the table. I'm done. Done with this interview, this show, and you, Creig panicked. Kelly, wait, we can fix this. Fix this? She repeated, stunned. You just tried to ruin my reputation in front of millions. How exactly do you plan to fix that? He had no answer. You know the saddest part? Kelly's voice was calmer now, colder. I used to respect you. I thought you were one of the good ones. Turns out I was wrong. Her words landed like a knockout blow. Creig sat frozen, humiliated, while Kelly towered over him like a storm that had swept through the studio. You want to know what kept me going during my divorce? Kelly asked suddenly, her voice steady but emotional. It was believing that people were decent. Believing that if I handled things with grace, others would respect that. But you just proved me wrong, Craig muttered. I never meant to hurt you. Then what was the point, Craig? Drama? To make me crack? Well, here we are. Mission accomplished. She turned to the cameras for the first time. To everyone watching, I'm proud of this album. It's honest, hopeful, and it proves you can survive anything if you hold on to who you are. I hope you'll listen. Not because of this mess, but because it matters. Then she faced Craig again. Maybe next time, remember the people you interview are human beings. Treat them with respect. And with that, Kelly Clarkson walked off the set, leaving Craig Melvin alone in what would be remembered as one of the most disastrous interviews in morning television history. The red light stayed on. Millions had just seen it all. So what do you think? Did Kelly go too far, or was Craig completely out of line? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable stories from the entertainment world.